4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Record.
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
A classroom. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Today, I know that your English will improve. My name is Rebecca. Today's lesson is a very special lesson. We will learn about one of our teacher's personal experiences traveling to a country very far away. Now, what country am I talking about? Well, it is the country Zambia. Now, where exactly is Zambia? It's in Africa. Well, today's lesson is called Love in Zambia. Sounds like a very sweet lesson. And here are a few words you're going to learn about. The first is orally, and the second is highlight. Friends, open up your magazines to today's lesson. And let's get started. Come on.
Love in Zambia. A beautiful wedding in an amazing location. Whenever I excitedly told friends about my upcoming trip to Africa, their first question was always, "Are you going on a safari?" Although that wasn't the aim of my trip, it was certainly one of the draws. So, why did I travel over 28 hours to get to Zambia? For the happiest reason imaginable, to witness my dear friend celebrate at her Zambian wedding. After landing in the capital Lusaka, I endured a long car ride on mostly unpaved roads through the pouring rain.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 这篇文章的第一个重点，我们看 safari 这个名词。Safari 是指观察野生动物的旅行或者是狩猎，特别是在非洲的这个地区才叫做 safari。例如 Paul went on a 10-day safari in Kenya and Tanzania. Paul 去肯亚以及坦桑尼亚进行了10天的观察野生动物之旅。或者是 four-wheel drive jeeps are essential for safaris because the roads are bumpy. 4轮传动的吉普车对观察野生动物的旅行是必要的，因为道路非常颠簸。或者是 walking safaris are not allowed in this area because some animals might attack tourists. 这个区域是不允许用步行来进行观察动物之旅的，因为有些动物可能会攻击游客。接下来我们看课文中的It was certainly one of the draws 里面的 draw 这个名词 draw 在这里是指吸引人的事物，例如 book signings have always been big draws for fans at book fairs 书展中的签名会对书迷而言向来都相当具有吸引力，或者是 one of the party's draws is that there'll be a live band 这个派对吸引人之处之一是他们会有现场乐队表演。Draw 也可以当动词，意思是拉或牵引。注意它的过去式是 drew, D-R-E-W, 过去分词是 drawn, D-R-A-W-N. 例如 The coach drew the quarterback aside to have a talk with him. 教练把四分卫拉到一边跟他讲话。
Yes, it does seem like a lot of fun to go to Zambia for a wedding. I think it's very fortunate that Charlotte had this opportunity to go and witness a beautiful wedding of one of her friends.
And it's also one of my friends and someone who used to work here at Studio Classroom, Naomi. She got married, yes, in Zambia. And I really wanted to go on this trip. Honestly, Naomi had invited me as well, but it didn't work out with the time of year. It just wasn't good timing. But Can you imagine, Rebecca, going to Zambia to witness a Zambian wedding?
I think it definitely would be a very life-changing experience. Well, we're going to read about this experience now. A beautiful wedding in an amazing location. Whenever I excitedly told friends about my upcoming trip to Africa, their first question was always, "Are you going on a safari?"
That's kind of funny.
It is.
Well, because it shows that a lot of people, when they think of Africa, they think of safaris. And I have to admit, I do too. I don't know a whole lot about what's in a lot of African countries, but I hear that safaris are amazing.
Oh, yes, I would like to go on a safari someday. But right now, we're going to talk about this phrase, going on. Now, what does this phrase mean? This is just a way of saying that you will do something, and it might involve a trip of some sort.
That's right. Usually it does, right? So you can go on a trip. You can go on a cruise. Often we say, I'm going on an adventure. You can say, I'm going on a vacation. But something interesting about that word is that you can also say, I'm going on vacation. You don't need to use the word However, Charlotte has gone on a trip to Zambia.
Although that wasn't the aim of my trip, it was certainly one of the draws. So basically, our author, teacher Charlotte, is saying that going on a safari was definitely something that she wanted to do. It appealed to her, but it wasn't the primary reason that she was going on this trip.
And so why did she travel to Zambia? Why did I travel over 28 hours to get to Zambia? Wow, I didn't realize it was that long of a trip. For the happiest reason imaginable to witness my dear friend celebrate at her Zambian wedding. Now you see this phrase, the adjective and the noun, imaginable, the happiest reason imaginable. Can you tell us more about this phrase?
Oh yes, let's talk about this phrase. Now, when might you use this phrase? Well, you can use it when you want to express that something is the best or the worst of, possible thing that you could possibly ever think of.
Right, and so there's Charlotte right in the middle of this beautiful couple, this beautiful newly wed couple. And so she went for the happiest reason she could think of, and that is a reason that a lot of people think is also very happy, right? It's to go and celebrate a wedding when two people get married. But you can replace the adjective and the noun with something else. So for example, wow, that was a great story. That was the best story imaginable. Or, man, that movie company, they created a really scary monster. That was the scariest monster imaginable.
Oh, yes, great examples. Well, she went for the happiest reason imaginable to witness a wedding. After landing in the capital, Lusaka, I endured a long car ride on mostly unpaved roads through the pouring rain. Sounds like an adventure, but let's talk about this word unpaved. If something is unpaved, it means it does not have a hard, flat surface on the road, and it's usually dirt.
That's right, dirt. A dirt road would be an unpaved road. There's a lot of rocks in the road, right? An unpaved road is often bumpy. So Charlotte probably had a bumpy ride through the rain, right? Now, the opposite of an unpaved road is a paved road, or you could even call it pavement. So a lot of freeways and roads in a city have pavement.
That's right. Now, Gabe, if I understand correctly, Naomi and her husband currently live in Canada, but they went to Zambia for a wedding.
Well,
would this be considered like a destination wedding?
Kind of, because their plan is to split their time between Canada and Zambia. But since you mentioned destination weddings, let's learn more about them in
the Info Cloud.
Welcome to InfoCloud. Today, we would like to talk about destination weddings, what they are and what people can expect.
First off, a destination wedding is when two people go to either a foreign country or an exotic location to get married.
We should point out that if someone goes to another country where their partner has a lot of family, that isn't really a destination wedding.
Usually, the married couple will plan to spend at least a few days at the destination, if not a week. Commonly, there will also be activities specific to the destination planned.
For example, if you are having a wedding in Hawaii, in addition to the regular ceremony, perhaps there will also be a boat tour that guests can participate in.
But this brings us to an important part of guest etiquette for destination weddings. Although the married couple might arrange for group discounts, they will not be paying for accommodation or extra activities.
Also, destination weddings can either be extremely formal in dress or extremely casual, depending on the desires of the couple.
Today, it is common for couples to put all the important information on a website or a Facebook page. So make sure if you are going to a destination wedding that you check ahead and plan accordingly.
这几年我们经常在新闻上看到许多名人跑到另外一个国家去举办一场特别的婚礼，那就是 destination wedding 旅游婚礼。通常是选在一些旅游胜地，一边在那里举行婚礼，一边享受度假的乐趣。像是许多年前歌手周杰伦的婚礼就在英国一个很漂亮的古堡举行，这就是 destination wedding。但是如果新人选择举行婚礼的地方是男方或女方的家乡或娘家，那就不是 destination wedding，因为那只是回到一个熟悉的地方结婚，跟旅游一点关系也没有。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Studio Classroom. We are in the middle of learning about Charlotte, teacher Charlotte's experience in Zambia. Now, do you remember why she traveled 28 hours to get to Zambia? That's right, to witness her dear friend's wedding. Well, we already learned that she landed at the capital, right? And then she went on this 2-hour road journey. And where did she arrive after that? Let's find out now.
Love in Zambia. 2 hours later, we arrived at the farm where the celebration would take place. There, I would get a taste of food and culture I would never forget. The wedding celebration lasted 2 days and included blessings, cultural demonstrations, gift-giving, and lots of dancing. A team of drummers seemed to follow the couple wherever they went, singing songs meant to orally transmit customs and advice. The highlight was when the bride and groom had to identify their beloved by their feet alone. With a colorful cloth draped over my head, I acted as one of the decoys.
Alright， 继续我们看 drape 这个动词 drape 是指用布披搭或者是蒙上。例如 The girl draped a big scarf around her neck to keep warm. 这个女孩用一条很大的围巾围住脖子来保暖。或者是 The bride's head is usually draped with a piece of red cloth in a traditional Chinese wedding. 在中国传统婚礼中，新娘的头部会盖着一块红布。Drape 也可以当名词，意思是指垂幕或窗帘，通常都是用复数形。 例如 Rita pulled the drapes shut before going to bed. Rita 睡觉前把窗帘给拉上。最后我们看 decoy 这个名词 ，decoy 是指诱饵或圈套。例如 the female officer who walked alone was actually a decoy to lure the robbers. 这名独行的女警实际上是用来引诱这些抢匪的诱饵。或者是 the president's car acted as a decoy to distract attention when the president actually left in an ordinary car. 当总统其实搭了一部普通的车离开时，他的坐车被用来当做一个声东击西的诱饵。And now let's get back to our teachers.
So how long was this car ride that we were reading about earlier? Well, it was probably about 2 hours because our lesson says 2 hours later we arrived at the farm where the celebration would take place. So imagine riding in a car for 2 hours on an unpaved road through the pouring rain.
Yeah, but of course you're going for a great reason, okay? So you're probably still in a great mood. Okay, so this is where the celebration would take place. There I would get a taste of food and culture I would never forget. And there's a great phrase right there, to get a taste of something.
To get a taste of something just means that you get a short experience of something. Now, of course, in our lesson, it could literally mean that they get to taste the food, right? But it also means that you experience something for a short period of time.
That's right. So, of course, Charlotte is going to taste some interesting foods there, but she's also getting a taste of the culture, a little bit of experience. Every time I come through one of life's storms, every time God brings me through a storm, I get a taste of His goodness. And I think it's great. I think actually you can kind of get a taste of who God is at a wedding, just like the one in Zambia.
That's right. The wedding celebration lasted 2 days and included blessings, cultural demonstrations, gift giving, and lots of dancing. I enjoy dancing. I enjoy cultural demonstrations. I probably would enjoy this type of wedding.
But it's probably not Irish dancing there at this wedding. Rebecca.
No, probably not. It's probably Zambian dancing.
That's okay though, right?
Of course,
Good.
of course. There are lots of different types of dancing out there. A team of drummers seemed to follow the couple wherever they went, singing songs meant to orally transmit customs and advice.
That's what Naomi had invited me to do, was to bring my drums and play at her wedding.
Oh, really?
Actually, no, not really. No, but that would have been fun because I'm a drummer. I would have loved seeing this too. However, that didn't really happen. No, but let's take a look at this word orally that you see here. What does this mean?
If you do something orally, this means that you're expressing something in speech, not writing.
Yeah, so another word might be you're expressing it verbally. There's a phrase that I forget where I learned it, either in high school or college, and it's oral tradition. Okay, so some things are passed down through writing, and other things are passed down through oral tradition. That means you can't find the history written down anywhere. It's just stories that have been passed down, spoken from one generation to the next.
Well, the highlight was when the bride and groom had to identify their beloved by their feet alone. Now let's talk about this word highlight. What is a highlight? It is the best or most exciting part of something.
So, for example, Rebecca, you just got back from a trip not too long ago. Can you share with us one of the highlights of your trip?
There were so many highlights, but one of the highlights was definitely just getting to spend time with my mom and dad.
That's a great highlight. And just like we said, sometimes there is one highlight, and often there are many highlights, right? Okay, so Charlotte says the highlight was when the bride and groom had to identify their beloved by their feet alone. And so they were covered, the guys were covered, including the groom, and Naomi could only see their feet. She had to choose which one was her husband's.
And we read with a colorful cloth draped over my head, I acted as one of the decoys. Now, isn't that quite an honor?
That's right. So this picture is part of the process, right? They're getting to that place where you can only see their feet. All right. Well, it sounds like it would be a challenge if you don't know your beloved's feet very well. And speaking of challenges, it's time for
the SC Challenge.
All right, friends, for today's SC Challenge, let's see who's in the studio. Hey, guys.
Hey, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe. Jack here. Looking forward to the challenge.
And Luke here. Man, I think I'm going to win today.
All right.
I'm feeling it.
Okay, well, you keep feeling that, Luke. We'll see what actually happens. Okay. Friends, try your best as well. Let's see if you can guess the answers before either of these fine gentlemen do. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, more than ready.
All right. Number 1. What were Charlotte's friends curious about? I'm sure they were curious about many things, but according to the lesson, what were they curious about? A, the weather in Zambia. B, whether or not she would go on a safari. C, how she would get around. Or D, if she would fall in love during her trip. Any guesses? Luke?
Whether or not she would go on a safari.
Oh my goodness, Luke, you are so fast and you are correct.
Oh, yeah?
B is correct. Whether or not she would go on a safari.
Feeling it.
Have you been on a safari before in Africa?
No, I've never been to Africa before.
Jack?
Never.
Neither have I. A safari sounds fun. All right. Number 2. Why did Charlotte go to Zambia? A, to give the giraffes something to eat. B, to witness her friend's wedding. C, to learn an African language. Or D, to write an article for Studio Classroom. Jack?
Well, I know she did write an article for Studio Classroom.
Yes, was that the main point?
No, the main point was B. She went for a friend's wedding.
You are a genius, just like Luke. Yes, okay. Okay, B was correct. To witness a friend's wedding. All right, game points. Number 3, the sound of what instrument followed the couple wherever they went? Before I give the options, do you guys have any guesses? Here are the options. A, a guitar. B, drums. C, a flute. Or D, trumpets.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, goodness. Jack has an answer?
I'll take drums.
I know, right? When you think of African instruments, you think of drums, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're correct.
Oh, great.
Oh, man.
Drummers followed them wherever they went. Nice job, Jack. And you too, Luke.
I tried.
Yeah, great job playing, everybody. Well, friends, we'll see you next time for the SC Challenge.
So, Gabe, if you were to go to a Zambian wedding, which of the cultural traditions would you like to participate in?
I was just thinking, if I were there in Zambia and playing that game, which sounds pretty fun, where the bride has to choose which feet are the groom's, my feet would stick out. I mean, I got white feet, you know.
Oh, great. So then Wei could choose your feet very quickly.
Well, right. Or Naomi would easily know it's not my feet, right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Well, friends, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time right here on
Studio Classroom.
Yours at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.